Okay, so very good morning to everyone present here. My name is Ranveer Alabadya. I'm a fitness and health YouTuber. And today, primarily, we're here to celebrate the 3-year journey of GOQii. So before we get started with the proceedings, a big round of applause to Vishal sir and the entire GOQii team. All right, so we're here for celebration firstly, but we're also here to get a slight sneak peek into what GOQii has planned for us in the near future. I want to start off today's proceedings by introducing an idol of mine, Dr. Coutinho. He's an MD in the field of alternative medicine. He practices in he basically believes that you need to turn to food, you need to turn to nature instead of turning to the world of conventional medicine. He helps treat patients with cancer and disease all over the world with the help of nature. And he's someone I personally look up to. So without wasting any further time, Dr. Coutinho.
Thanks a lot. I got a mic. Oh, okay. Hi, good morning, everyone. So there are 2 Indian villages separated by 10 kilometers of river along the Amazon. An eagle flies into village number 1. The inhabitants of the village see this as an omen of evil. They burn down the village and they go searching for new land. The second village, 10 kilometers away, the same eagle flies into that village. The inhabitants see this bird as good luck. They have a ceremony, they celebrate, and they continue living in that village. The same kind of people, the same birds, but 2 different mindsets. The biggest problem that we have today is our mindset. Our mindset towards disease, our mindsets towards weight, our mindset towards lifestyle and stress. Some people believe that thyroid disease can never be cured, and yet there are millions of people who are healing their thyroid gland naturally without the requirement of medication anymore. 2 different mindsets, the same disease. There are people dying of cancer every single day. Some because of their beliefs and mindset. It never allows the human body to heal naturally. And what about weight loss? There are people who have success stories in losing all their weight, and yet there are women and men who struggle every single day. They work out, they eat well, they sleep well, but yet they can't lose weight. Mindsets. Mindsets are controlled by confusion and fear. A couple of years ago when Vishal and I met with this entire vision of reaching out to millions of people across the world to inject them with one powerful drug, lifestyle. Backed by Abhi and Sachin, the core team has grown over the last 3 years and consists of valuable members with one vision: to prevent disease and suffering amongst millions of people across the world. What's the problem today? Look around. We have 7-star hospitals. We have 5-star hospitals. We have the best doctors. We have the best nutritionists. We have healers. We have meditation teachers. But why are we sicker as a nation? Why are more and more people dying? Why has cancer become an epidemic? Why are people struggling to lose weight every single day when we have gyms, we have organic food, we have everything available? The biggest competitor of GOQii is laziness. Why do armies work? Armies work with one ingredient, one word. It's not a secret. It's called discipline. Look into our own lives today and measure your level of discipline when it comes to doing little things every day, like walking, like just putting the right food into your body. Forget about extreme diets. We don't encourage people to be on extreme diets. You don't need extremes. Look at nature. Nature just happens without trying too hard. But look at our human race today. We're trying to fit into extreme measures of eating, working out, and looking after our stress levels. And that's where the problems begin. We've lost our connection with simplicity. We've lost our connection with our essence. That is who we really are. Everyone is trying to have a body like someone else or imitate a lifestyle of someone else without looking at your own self. Your own benchmark of success is yourself. Where were you last week and where are you this week? If you've improved and you've grown and evolved, that is your success. Your success in health does not depend on the people around you, the pictures that you see in magazines, the filth that the media shows us every single day, leading to depression, leading us to think that we're not as good as we are. Let's put that aside. Knowledge becomes power when it is organized and used. Organized and used. There is all the knowledge in the world available out there. 3 days ago, I Googled 5 things: how to lose belly fat, how to cure cancer, how to look pretty, how to build a toned body, how to improve my sex life. Not mine, in general. Google threw up 21 crore options. So many options, so much confusion. So much confusion, so much insecurity. So much insecurity, so much fear. And that's the world we're living in today, a world induced by fear. The moment someone gets cancer, it comes with the fear that how much time left? How about how much time do I have to make a change in my lifestyle? The moment our weight goes up, we move into a negative loop of complaining, condemning, and blame without using that time and energy to focus it towards getting better. What's going wrong in my life? Is it sedentary? Am I sleeping too less? Am I eating the wrong foods? Am I not moving enough? 4 questions that you can ask yourself and take responsibility and accountability for your own health. And that's what we do at GOQii. The whole idea was to use that one magic drug called lifestyle. I'm in the world of cancer. I see about 30 to 40 patients every single day. Every single day. And I can tell you one thing. At least 90% or even 95% of them should never have reached the stage of contracting the disease. The other 5 to 8%, I would probably leave that with genetics. No explanation as to why a 6-month infant would be born with leukemia. Why a 1-year little girl will be born with a tumor in her brain. I'm talking about the 90%. And when I diagnose, there's just one question that I start off my diagnosis with. What was happening in your life 6 months to a year before you got sick? And we can trace the commonalities between all the data that keeps coming in every single day. Acidity, constipation, lack of sleep, and emotional distress. These 4 commonalities in almost every one of those 90 patients in the last 2 years. And when we look at the data that GOQii collects over the last 2 to 3 years, what are the commonalities that glare out to us? Acidity, constipation, sleep, emotional stress. That's why we're focused on prevention. That's why we believe that before you fall into the vicious trap, and why I call it a vicious trap, we're not against doctors at all. In fact, we have some of the finest doctors on our team at GOQii. We're not against doctors. We're not against the medical community. What we are against is the fact that we have to wake up to not just treating the symptoms anymore, but addressing the root cause. Everyone has a solution for you when you're sick, but no one's telling you how not to get sick. And that's exactly what we're focused on, prevention. Because you can put a lot of energy into preventing illness, but when you are ill, it doesn't matter if you're on the Forbes list, it doesn't matter whether you're the CEO of a company or whoever you are. The drain on your health, your energy, and everything else is disastrous. We want to remove away suffering. How do you remove suffering away from people? It's at a mental and a physical level, which is why our paradigm of lifestyle revolves around 4 points. Balanced nutrition. Note that I use the word balanced. I'm not talking about keto diets. I'm not talking about any of the extreme diets. I'm talking about getting the right food into your body type to support your survival and your immunity, period. You can do that with balanced nutrition. The second vertical is adequate exercise. I'm not talking about overtraining. You don't have to become a bodybuilder. You don't need to train 2 hours in the gym. I'm talking about movement that suits your cellular structure, your body type, and your mind. The third vertical is sleep. Quality and quantity. You could sleep for 4 hours, but deep sleep, you've gone through all your cycles of sleep, and those 4 hours to 5 hours would be enough for you, for your mental health and your physical health. There are so many people who sleep for 8 to 9 hours and still wake up tired. They still wake up weak. They've not slept well. So it is not about the quantity of sleep, it is about the quality of sleep that we're focusing on. And the fourth vertical is what's going on in your head, what's going on in your heart, your emotions. 3 days ago, I was in Mexico with one of my favorite doctors who's written a book called The Biology of Belief. He went to medical school. He taught at medical school for 7 years before deciding that beliefs and your emotions is the most destructive thing that can ever happen to human health. I'll give you a simple test that he explains in all of his seminars. They removed cells from the human body and put it into a Petri dish. In that Petri dish, they put fruit extracts, and they watched how the cells vibrate towards these fruit extracts, open up and absorb. And then he put white sugar in the Petri dish. And through the microscope, you could see how the cells shrivel up and start moving away from that toxic substance. And then in that same room, he played loud, blaring music that didn't make sense. It was just noise. And found how the cells shrivel up again and separate. And then he played peaceful music, instrumental music, and shows how the cells start vibrating, opening up, and clumping together. What you think has a direct impact in trillions of cells in the human body. We'll do a test right now. So I'm going to ask each and every one of you to be happy. Be happy. None of you are smiling. You can't be happy unless you have a happy thought. Be sad. You're less smiling now. You can't be sad until you have a sad thought. So now just think about all of the emotions that are going through your head every single day. And you think you're strong enough to overcome them. We can use a glass of alcohol. We can use a cigarette to numb these emotions. But those emotions are still happening in you, impacting trillions of cells in the human body. Every disease on this planet originates from a cell. Think about it. Diabetes, where does it come from? The cells in your pancreas. Cardiovascular issues, the cells in your arteries. Cancer, from a cell. Every disease, hair fall, it's a cell getting weak and your hair falls. Fat, body fat, belly fat, expanded cells in the human body. If disease originates in a cell, our focus for prevention and healing needs to revolve around cellular health. What am I putting in my cells? Is the food that I'm eating able to reach my cells? Blood carries oxygen and nutrients from the food that you eat to trillions of cells. So if I'm eating the wrong food, those cells are getting the wrong energy. If they're getting the wrong energy, they are unable to boost immunity and detoxify themselves automatically. Observe how you're breathing right now. Is anyone breathing to their full capacity? No. Now take a deep breath. Now, you have supplied trillions of cells with the life force called oxygen, which is why we work out, because when we work out, we move, we circulate blood, which carries oxygen and nutrients from the cells that we eat, from the food that we eat to all our cells. So what I'm trying to arrive at is, health is simple, humans are complicated today. Yes, there's a fine line between technology and humans. Either or can never replace one another. They have their place in our society, and it's got to be judiciously used. So we sit on technology today. We have the finest experts in our technology team that can move to artificial intelligence like many other companies have and replace the requirement of a human being. But today, in my line of practice, the things that are healing patients who are dying is human touch, human emotions, the ability for someone to speak to you, to be heard, to be listened to. These are human emotions that technology will never, never replace. And that's why at the back end of our platform, we have a human being like you and me who understands emotions, who can relate to you, who can communicate with you and fill that gap. Because if you look at the amount of people with depression today, they need one thing: to be heard, to speak to someone. And that's what's going wrong in all of our families and in society. Communication has become less today. We're more on technology. We believe that Facebook and Twitter and Instagram can sort that little void that we have in our hearts, can fill it up. So if someone doesn't like your picture, you feel low. You feel sad. That's how technology is determining the way we feel. And by now you all understand that the way we feel impacts our health and who we are. So when we combine the paradigms of balanced nutrition, adequate exercise, quality sleep, and managing your emotions, your stress, you are not successful if you build a successful empire or a business at the cost of your health or at the cost of your relationships, family, or whatever it is that you want to call it. You are not successful if you have to compromise health to build what you think is success. But again, what does media show you as success? You'll only see people who have built empires and companies and all of these things, but they'll never show you the flip side of the amount of health lost. I handle about 18 of the richest people's profiles in the world, and there's one thing that each and every one of them tell me: Luke, we have everything, but we cannot buy our health back. I can't buy a night of sleep. I can't buy relief to my aching knee. I can't sit on a flight, whether it's first class or whatever it is, without waking up with acidity and this extreme pain in my abdomen. Is that living? Yeah, to the outside world, you're a star. You're a star, but every night when you go home living with those pains and that disease that's slowly consuming you inside, that's not living. We are in the business of motivation. You can call it healthcare, but it's motivation, because each and every one of us know what we need to do to be healthy. This is not new for you. We all know we need to move more, eat the right food, sleep better, and take care of our stress levels, but we don't do it. Why? Motivation. We're in the business of motivation. Our coaches, our team believes that if we can get you to start doing a little bit every single day, that's when you have success. Let's talk about cancer for a while again. How do you heal a disease like cancer? You look at one thing: immunity. That's your body's intelligence and power and brilliance to heal you naturally, but it's being compromised every day with the poor lifestyle choices that we make. So one focus on immunity. What does it take to build strong immunity? Every one of the 4 points I just told you about: the right nutrition, adequate movement, quality sleep, because that's where all the healing happens while you sleep, and managing your stress levels. So you're looking at a paradigm which is built into your system by nature. It exists in every one of us naturally. Now, all we need to do is find the motivation to decide which path we want to take. Is it the path of investing a little bit every day? We don't ask you to work out in the gym for an hour. We ask you to walk 10,000 steps. 3 days ago, we ended a month challenge of walk 10,000 steps every 30 days. We had 8 lakh participants from around the world. People in Czechoslovakia, people in Siberia also participated in this. We finished a challenge 3 days ago. 8.5 lakh people tried to walk 10,000 steps. What was the learning? What was the learning? Some people lost weight, some people lost inches, some people started sleeping better. But most of the feedback that came in were, it's become a lifestyle for us now. This happens automatically for us without having to try. And that's what GOQii is about. Making that one lifestyle change, 1 week at a time, 1 month at a time. The drug is lifestyle. The best investment that each and every one of us can make today is in prevention. It is in prevention. You can have the best health insurance policy. You can have wealth in your bank account to afford you a room in a 7-star hospital, but it doesn't take away the suffering and the immense side effects of the medication that you will be on. A week ago, I was in Dubai. We were talking to one of the biggest insurance companies. And the head of that insurance company shared the patient data with me. I had a look at the top 3 medications that Dubai was on for diabetes, anxiety, and high blood pressure. Now, when you do simple math around these 3 medications, and you check the side effects of each of these medications, it is easy to predict that in 5 to 8 years, if those people on that medication do not change their lifestyle, there will be claims from the insurance company. It's that simple. So you start looking at the side effects of every drug you are on. You don't need a doctor or a nutritionist to tell you what's going to happen 5 years down the line if you do not change your lifestyle. It's okay to be on that medication as a crutch to get you through your situation right now. Take the medication, but also start making changes in the way you eat, sleep, think, and move. For the longest time, people have been healing on their own, using their own body. You felt sick, you rested. Rest is one of the best medications. And today, we need that one pill because we need to catch a flight, we need to go to work, we need to continue with our social life. People pop acidity medications before going out to socialize every night because they want to drink and not get acidic. And that's what's going wrong in the world. Mindset, like I said. And with GOQii, we plan to try to implement small mindset changes. The most limiting aspect of human life is fear. The fear of failure, the fear of not being loved, the fear of not being recognized, the fear of not being appreciated, which is why you see so many people wearing different masks all the time, trying to be someone they're not. And that's what I mean by losing our essence and losing our connection with our soul. And that brings sickness. That invites sickness, mental as well as physical. So before I end, understand that every human being in this world is made up of 5 selves. You have your physical self. You have your emotional self. You have your spiritual self. You have your intellectual self. Now what happens is, when you try to grow in these cells every single day, there's no point building a great body but being depressed and emotionally frustrated. I have models who come to me with cancer. I have yoga teachers. I have Vipassana teachers who have worked on the emotional self but neglected the physical self. And then I have bodybuilders. And I have athletes who come with extreme disease. They worked on the physical self but neglected the emotional self. You see, you can't separate nature. Each and every one of you are products of nature, which means you thrive best within the biological parameters that define you. So when you change the way you eat, sleep, think, and move, anything and everything that's a disease, be it arthritis, be it diabetes, be it even cancer, it tends to get better and better because now you've empowered the intelligence of the human body, which no scientist yet understands how it works. So you have that power in you. Each and every one of us have that power in us. And as GOQii, as a company, as an organization, with one vision to help people prevent and help people heal using lifestyle. That's available today. One simple gadget, technology, and a human at the end who can make that lifestyle change for you. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for the interesting insight, Luke. So today we considered fitness and health influencers. I'm supposedly a fitness and health YouTuber, and every single influencer in the country looks up to Mr. Luke Coutinho. Those are words of wisdom. Again, one more huge round of applause for Mr. Luke. Someone that the entire world of health looks up to. Okay, and now I want to bring up on stage the CEO and founder of GOQii Technologies, Vishal Gondal, sir. Once again, congratulations for the 3-year anniversary. Stage is all yours.
Thanks. Thanks, Ranveer. Thanks a lot, Luke. Welcome, everybody. Can I get the clicker while we get that? So first of all, it's been an exciting 3 years for GOQii. When we started, people laughed at us. People laughed at me. I was almost, I think at that time, over 100 kgs, I guess. But what really happened? What has changed with GOQii and why we have been here? I think, first of all, let's set it straight. GOQii was and is a disruptive idea. When we started in 2014 and said, you know what? We are going to have a subscription service. We are going to make people pay in the world where everybody was giving free apps. In the world when everybody said, oh, you know, Fitbit, Apple Watches, all these hardware is there. Why is another Indian company trying to build hardware? It was basically going against every theory, producing hardware, producing services, and entering a field of health, of fitness and wellness when we did not understand any of this. But as it is said, right, that you need to disrupt from outside. And I think GOQii is the perfect example that how a bunch of outsiders, people from completely different industries, came together to change the paradigm of what's happening in the world of wearables, in the world of fitness, and now in the world of healthcare itself. What we started was a very, very fitness-driven journey. So if you look at 2014, the idea was more around a personalized coach. The idea was that how can we make people healthier? So let's throw in a coach. Let's make sure people are making those lifestyle changes. And it happened because I had my own experience of doing it. From being completely sedentary, I went on to running 14 half marathons, go to Everest Base Camp. But all this was done not by just having technology. When it comes to fitness, when it comes to health, the big insight we had was what is lacking is motivation, which is why we connected GOQii users, or players as we call them, to health coaches and a whole host of people, what we call the health ecosystem, which is constantly trying to make you healthier. It was a crazy idea. And as this idea progressed, I'm happy to say that today, 90% of our users have made at least one positive lifestyle change. And that's a huge, huge achievement given how difficult this is. And over 50% of our users have made 2 to 3 changes, whether it is about being active, whether it is all about being, drinking more water, as simple as that. And of course, Luke talked about the whole host of lifestyle changes we are pushing to. But the question is going back to the thing that today the entire system is geared towards sickness, while we are trying to move it towards wellness, towards making sure that you remain healthy. Also, we thought that we cannot live in isolation with the medical fraternity, with the entire health sector. And I'm happy to say that we started work not in India, but actually in the United Kingdom with the National Health Services. This is their social healthcare system. And we launched our first program in the city of Birmingham, and the results have been staggering. This is very early data from our pilots which we are running there, and already HbA1c has halved. We have people with cholesterol who have been able to reduce it, and people have reported all kinds of positive data, and this is without one additional medication on what they already are taking in. So what's really happening is that the magic of lifestyle is now going from the prevention side to even disease management. Right now, almost 40% of GOQii users have one or multiple lifestyle disorders, being from diabetes, cholesterol, thyroid, you name it, cancer, you name it, and we have people already on GOQii. But the best part about GOQii is we do not typecast them and say, hey, you are diabetic or you are this. Everybody on GOQii is living a positive lifestyle, and what they are trying to do is make changes in their own lifestyle. So it is not kind of separating them into different verticals. The other very interesting thing we did was we partnered with a very interesting global organization called Walk with the Doc. The idea was, how can we get patients and doctors to not be in a hospital setting, but go and meet in a park, go for a walk? How can we change the discussion from doctor, which medicine should I eat, that doctor, I want to do what you are doing? And I'm happy to say that we have now organized multiple walks across various cities where doctors are inviting patients to walk with them. This has never happened in India before, and I think we need to give these doctors and these professionals a big round of applause, because what they are doing is what every healthcare and medical professional needs to do. And I've been made part of the Prime Minister's entire initiative, Champions of Change. And one of my suggestions to India was that while we are building more hospitals, what India needs is more parks. What we need is more places for people to walk. This Sunday, Mumbai has announced the cycling track. And I think we are now going to see more and more cities adopt places for us to live healthier. And I think this revolution is going to start, and we've already seen this start from various doctors in the country. Also, Harvard early this year released a case study talking about what GOQii is doing in the most disruptive manner. And I think this again is a big milestone, because typically when we talk about India, the case studies are always about jugaad and frugal innovation. But this was one of the case studies where Harvard is talking about our unique approach of not trying to replace humans, because the global trend is bots are going to replace everything, and AI is going to kill every human job. What we are saying is completely the opposite. We are saying that healthcare specifically is a great example, and I would say education is the other one, where it's very important for you to have a mentor, guide, guru, who's going to help you make these changes. And with our system, we've been able to enable exactly that, which has created this paradigm shift in the approach of healthcare. And what you've been seeing today so far is testament to that. And we thank Harvard and ISB actually, who worked on this case study for us. Also, we are number one. We've been now number one for quite a few quarters from IDC. The funny thing is, we do not even compete in the wearable space. Luke mentioned something very interesting. So every time I meet somebody, people always say, hey, you are competing with Fitbit, you're competing with this app, you're competing with the gym. And we said we need to find out who are we really competing against. And we spoke to thousands of GOQii users, thousands of users outside the system, to find out that what do they do if they quit GOQii, or what do they do if they don't choose GOQii? And the answer was, they do nothing. So our biggest competitor is not any app or device or service, it is human laziness. And that's what we are here to challenge. And on that thought, I want you to get up and do a few jumps so that we want to make sure at least this crowd here is not lazy. Okay, so at the count of 3, we're going to do 3 jumps. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, at least over here, we've been able to beat some amount of laziness. But think about it, right? It is not really the challenges, and we've seen it ourselves with our own lives. A lot of times we all know that, hey, I can do this, I can walk here, but we always want to, get the Uber, or in a hotel, we would always want to order the chicken makhan wala versus, or makhani as Rajiv would say, versus something else. So the question being that, where are GOQii users coming from? This was another big question always put to us. And here is the example. 40% of GOQii players are today coming from small cities and towns. It's completely incredible. In fact, last month I tweeted, we had our first user from the Lakshadweep Islands. We have like a few hundred users from Andaman, Nicobar. If you look at this map, you can see the kind of scale we've been able to get. And I think that's the power of technology. India is a unique place where we do not have health and medical infrastructure. So I'm sure that there is no way we can build enough hospitals, get enough doctors to all these places. But India has the unique ability to leapfrog. What we did in the telecom space, where we went from no internet and wired connectivity to now everybody on 4G with Reliance Jio, we believe that the same thing is going to happen on health, where at one end we are talking about having no access, but on the other end, we are going to see people using their mobile devices access the latest in healthcare, and the same person will have access to Dr. Luke or any of our people sitting in any part of the world. And I think that's the disruption we are bringing in. Also, as you know, GOQii's belief of giving back, compassion is a big thing. So I'm happy to also say that we have now generated, through our users' efforts, over 71 million karma points, which is roughly translated into $2 million of charity being donated to various causes. So I think here is an amazing opportunity. See, normally what happens is when people are on a health journey, they don't want to talk about it. It's something very personal. They will not tell anyone. But GOQii is the exact opposite. When people come on GOQii, they can't stop talking about it. They're putting it on Facebook. They're telling their friends because we have created a conversation around goodness, a conversation around how you can be the force of change. And I think that change of mindset is what has helped us. In fact, almost 80% of GOQii users who come to our platform come because of word of mouth. It's people like here. In fact, there are many GOQii users already here who have been our biggest ambassadors and proponents, and I really humbly thank them from my heart for all the work you are doing in changing this world. Coming to the next interesting thing, I wanted to, in this light, talk to you about one very, very interesting GOQii family. And when I say GOQii family, is because Mr. Kansal is a very unique individual. We have put together a little video on his journey on GOQii for you to see. Let me play the video now.
Next year, my son will do this with me. Okay, and I want him to be, I want him to beat me. Okay, really beat me. Because, if he does that, then I think I'm helping in creating a generation of people who are health conscious, who are environmental conscious. And that's what is future all about, It's not about smoking and looking cool. It's not about drinking and looking cool. That isn't looking cool. It's a very proud moment for me and my family because it's not just my wife and I who are repeating it. Both my kids are also there and my son is walking with us.
So, Rajneesh Kansal is a personal hero of mine because he was not only able to make a change in his own life, but was literally the first guy who inducted his entire family to wellness. And it's my great honor to invite Rajneesh on stage to talk about his journey in a bit and inspire other families to take up good health. Rajneesh, thanks a lot. Congratulations once again for all the stuff you've done.
Morning, everybody.
It's working, yeah.
It's working. Okay. Morning, everybody. My name is Rajneesh. Thank you, Vishal. The journey has been profound, to say the least. I came on GOQii at the suggestion of my brother-in-law, and it's been wonderful. I mean, that's the one word that I'll use to describe. It has made so many positive changes in my life. My entire family is on GOQii now, and it's created a very positive pressure system within the family. Like for instance, if I don't go out for my walk, my wife tells me, "Why don't you go out?" Or if my kid is missing out on playing, even when it's his or her examination, we force the kids to go out and play. So you will not believe one of the biggest achievements our family has had till since the time we have come on board, and that's more than 2 years. I think in the past more than 2.5 years, we have been to a mall on a weekend not more than 10 times. We spend the time either with ourselves or pursuing our own hobbies and passions. My kids are learning music, I'm following, my own drawing, art, things that we used to do as kids. We have gone back to that. And I think above all, we have got a huge, huge group of wonderful, positive friends. So thank you, Vishal, for being the force and a huge friend. And just like him, we have wonderful friends. So thank you so very much for this honor. Really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Rajneesh. I think one of the reasons we wanted to kind of highlight Rajneesh's story is because we have got enough examples of people changing their own lives. But here was an example where Rajneesh was not only able to get himself, but his entire family on board. And Rajneesh, inspired from you, we have a very interesting announcement today. And this is dedicated to Rajneesh Kansal, his family, and hundreds, maybe thousands of other families who are already in GOQii. So I'm really, really happy to announce the first, possibly the world's first family preventive healthcare plan of GOQii. This is going to be very, very unique because while people were taking up their individual's journey on GOQii, we said that since everybody here are now looking at how can they get their family members on board, we have decided, and this is going to roll out over the next few months to all our users, the first GOQii family plan, where you can track your entire family health on the GOQii app. Apart from that, as you know, GOQii has an entire care team of doctors, health experts. You can now share consultations between your family members so that it's not just you, but the same GOQii account can take care of other people in your family. Plus, you have one expert for the entire family. So one of the most unique things which we saw was we used to constantly get that we all want the same coach, because one coach was telling the husband that they should be drinking lemon water, the other coach was telling the wife you should be drinking aloe vera juice, and there was this whole challenge in the room, in the kitchen. So the idea was now to combine that so that the same coach or the same expert is able to track the entire family's health. Currently, you can add up to 4 family members on your own account, and there are going to be a whole host of other offers which we are going to be unlocking. But I think the step here is very important because we believe that health is not an individualistic thing. It may be individualistic in the West, where people are, living very lonely societies. But in India, what is cooked at home is what is cooked by your wife or whoever in the kitchen for the entire family. And it was becoming very challenging for people, for only one person to have some other food while the rest of the family members are enjoying their unhealthy lifestyle. So the idea was to combine this, and this is a big, big thing which we've been able to do. The other exciting thing which we are also announcing today, which I'm very excited about, is around activity. And as you know, GOQii players get massively active when they come on the platform. A lot of here. In fact, I want to give a very big round of applause for Kamal Karnataka. Kamal, can you just get up? Kamal, by the way, started on GOQii where he could not even run 100 meters. And all I can tell you is that in the last 2 years, he just finished his half marathon at a record time of 1 hour 40 minutes. I mean, believe me, guys, running a half marathon at 1 hour 40 minutes is not easy. So we have now 90% of our users who walk about 10,000 steps a day. 7,000 people are doing cycling, which is another very interesting activity. 37% people on GOQii do running as an activity very regularly. 35% of them are doing weights. And one of the common things which we saw was when people indulge in these activities, they do get some kind of injury. They do get some kind of problems. It could be a muscle tear, a ligament tear, a run. And to kind of cover that, and as you know, we have now been working very closely with some of our insurance partners. So one of the big things which we are announcing today, which is going to be again possibly the first time in the world, is we are going to be launching something called the Active Lifestyle Health Cover. So it's a very unique thing where within your GOQii plan itself, you will have some kind of insurance cover which will cover injuries during this kind of events. So if at all GOQii is making you walk more or you are running more, if you have any problems, and I know, Kamal, you keep going to all kinds of physiotherapists, now a lot of that would be covered with this. Of course, I need to put a caveat here that this is subjected to approvals from various regulatory bodies and so on. We are talking about it, but this will officially launch sometime next year, early next year. But this is a very unique proposition which we are creating with our partners. The other interesting thing which we are talking about specifically here is Luke mentioned that there is too much confusion for people when they are trying to specifically make healthy choices. It's very easy to eat junk food. You go to any of your favorite health app or go to any mall, ordering or eating junk food is very easy. But the minute you're trying to order or buy something healthy, it becomes a huge challenge. One of the most common questions which we get from our players is, which healthy supplements can I buy? What food should I order? Which gym should I join? Which kind of yogurt should I be eating? And all of that. So there is too much confusion. And as you know, brands are not doing a good job. Every brand now puts in their package, we are fat-free, this free, that free. But in reality, what the package tells you and what is actually in the product may be very, very different. So for solving that problem, once again, I'm very, very happy to announce a new initiative from GOQii, which is the GOQii Health Store. This is going to be a very, very unique offering where we are curating with our selected partners in various categories. So food delivery, I'm very happy to announce our first tie-up with Healthy, and I know Rajesh Sahani is here, the CEO of Healthy, and we'll be talking to him shortly about this. Healthy is now the #1 health food company across India. They have presence across all major metro cities. You could now, based on, once again, your coach's advice, what your preferences are, within the GOQii app itself, order food from Healthy. Apart from that, we are getting other partners too who will be coming out. There is Herbivore, there is Fig. But not only that, we are extending this to various categories. I'm also happy to announce our very unique partnership with 1mg. The 1mg folks are here somewhere. To talk about how we are integrating the entire pharmacy so that if at all you have to order any medication, you can do it once again from within your GOQii app, and the same data gets added to your health records, your health locker, your GOQii doctor, your GOQii coach. Everybody knows what medication you are on, and we can also help you with medical adherence and so on and so forth. So right now, when you just go and buy a medicine, to now buying it from the GOQii system, the experience will be massively value additive, because not only will we know which medications you are, we can suggest you what could be possible side effects and what dietary changes you need to do to manage those side effects. So it's going to be pretty interesting there. We are also launching a whole host of supplements. Once again, as you know, if you go and, everybody has deficiency of vitamin B12, vitamin D, and all kinds of challenges. And today, if you go to Amazon or any of your favorite stores and just try to Google a supplement, you will be confused with which one to buy. There are price ranges, there are quality ranges. So there's a whole confusion once again around which supplements to buy. So we will be curating some amazing supplements from, again, our partners. There is Pure Nutrition, there is Zenith Nutrition who will be coming in. And of course, my favorite, which is around healthy snacks. Big challenge around it. Every snack advertises itself to be healthy, but which are the healthier snacks? How do you decide? We have solved that problem by curating it. And in fact, some of the partners are here. You can go out and try some of these snacks. Also, if you know of any companies who are making healthy, natural, organic, vegan, all kinds of snacks, do connect them to us. We have a team whose only job is to evaluate, select, and make sure that all the products and services listing on the GOQii store are going to be curated. So this is not a place where you will find 1,000 options. You may only get 5 options, but these options are something we would want to recommend you. Similarly, we are launching some very interesting accessories, yoga mats, sippers, and something on the meditation space where these are specially designed meditation accessories which kind of help you. And there is again a display outside which you can check. So once again, it's not just about recommending you what to do. We are trying to completely fulfill your health journey with GOQii and taking you the next step ahead. As I mentioned, we have a whole host of interesting partners, specifically on certain other categories. We are first announcing our partnership with Reset Gym. This is something which Luke has started in Bandra, and we are going to hopefully have more centers coming up, which is a completely integrated healthcare system. There are other gym partners also coming on board. We are also announcing a partnership with Map My Genome, which is around gene testing. And once again, once we get your genetic report, we could figure out what lifestyle, what food, what changes you need to do around that. We have the green snack company, Satvico, Fig, Herbivore, Moz, which has created this very interesting drink of probiotics. Once again, you can try it. It's called the Kefir. So it is going to be very exclusive. At the same time, we can, at least from the GOQii end, tell you that this is good for you. So we are very, very happy about this. Coming back to another...
Now turn any time into fitness time with Axis Active. Use your fitness band to make contactless payments, track your fitness, earn Axis Edge reward points, and monitor your progress on the Axis mobile app. Get Axis Active today.
Last year with our partners Axis Bank, where the first time you could use a fitness tracker to make payments. But we launched another very interesting feature called the Axis Edge reward points, where for walking 70,000 steps, you were getting points. And these points could then be redeemed on the Axis reward store. Something magical happened when we did that. Almost 40% more engagement from people who signed up to Axis reward points. Not only that, Axis reward points, just to give you a very interesting maths, in a week, Axis gives you points which is roughly worth 100 rupees. So in a year, you can make about 50 to 100 rupees worth of points by just being active. And we saw massive surge in engagement, massive surge in activity levels. And clearly, we saw that the combination of rewards really, really worked well with the set of users. While Axis and us are expanding that program before, I'm once again very happy to announce our next initiative where we are taking the entire program of rewarding good health to the next level. I'm happy to introduce what we call GOQii Cash for the first time. So imagine that you can make up to 52,000 rupees a year in GOQii Cash itself. That's almost 1,000 rupees a week. Now that's a great deal for anybody to be healthy. And not just that, this is once again for the first time where health is wealth is literally going to be translated into the real thing. So we are creating a system of, I'm not calling it cryptocurrency yet, but virtual currency where you can earn this by doing a variety of healthy things, right from logging a meal, to walking, to drinking water, to even buying healthy products from the GOQii store. So in short, we are creating an incentive program for you to consume healthy, to buy healthy, to be healthy, and very soon there will also be a very interesting feature where if you enter a healthy location, like a gym, like a park, you could get points for that too. So we are kind of trying to connect the entire world of health around it and get you points for that. These points are, or GOQii Cash, can then be used across our partners. So all the places which you saw on the GOQii store will be accepting GOQii Cash. And while we know we love Paytm and Paytm Karo, we would soon be saying ki Paytm Karo par GOQii karne ke baad, because ab pehle healthy ho jao. So I think the question is that in India, everybody is about cash back. we are going to be creating the first healthy cashback. And that's why we are really excited about these points and these rewards. Also, happy to announce the version 3 of GOQii, which is going to be phenomenally different. As you can see, it's going to be a full color device, launching by January end of 2018. Our team, led by Champ, by the way, it's Champ's birthday today also, so happy birthday, Champ, once again. You know, I'm so amazed that when you have a person in your team, a core team member whose name is Champ, you can never get it wrong. So Champ is our one-man army who is responsible for creating path-breaking designs, path-breaking hardware, and GOQii 3 is going to be at the complete next category of this. Apart from having a color screen, it's going to have continuous heart rate, it's going to have a whole host of features. But one feature I'm personally excited about, which we actually unveiled just last week at the GES conference in Hyderabad, is a feature called Presence Plus. The Presence Plus feature is a location detection feature where if you meet other GOQii users, our device itself can detect it, and when you go back, it can actually make you as friends. And this was, by the way, one of the most talked about features at GES, thanks to, once again, Niti Aayog and the PM office. All 2,000 delegates of GES Summit, which came from all over the world, were presented a GOQii. And the most unique thing we did there was that as you met other delegates, you could open the GES app and the device would have already detected all the people you have met. And this was a magical feature, and you can now just imagine the possibilities of this, of location, which we can unveil to the entire sector. We can detect whether you are going to a healthy place or a not so healthy place, with your permission, of course, and then reward you accordingly. So this is very unique, and you'll be able to see this. Very, very interesting. Also, one unique feature about the GOQii device version 3 will be the battery life. Once again, we innovated a lot on the battery life. As you know, GOQii is the only device right now in India which comes with an integrated charger, and we are already running there, and we are optimizing this further. And while Champ has promised me a different number, I would say that you will be very, very happy with the battery life for almost 15 days, Champ. So this kind of takes us to the next paradigm of GOQii, which is our new ecosystem. The new ecosystem now is encompassing a lot more things. As you know, insurance is going to play a big role in GOQii, because one industry which is equally incentivized with GOQii to make you healthy is the insurance sector. Insurers are now working not only with GOQii in India, but in many other countries to create plans which will make sure you're living healthier lives. We have integrated the GOQii Health Store and more services into it. But my personal favorite is not this. My personal favorite is something completely different, which we are announcing once again today. Any guesses on what could this be? It is not hardware, it is not store, it is something completely different. Anybody wants to? So why did we play this game? And as you know, my background is in the world of games, and when we started GOQii, my secret plan was to actually make it into a gaming company, you know. ये तो सिर्फ बहाना था, ये सब जो हम लोग कर रहे थे. And I have to tell you that today, we have made that secret in my heart come true. So we are actually launching the first gaming platform for health ever in the entire world. It's going to be called Games for Good, because I have always been, you know, when I meet parents, they said, because of you, my kids are playing these games and wasting their time, and because of you, I have spent hours doing this and that. But my goal was that gaming has proven to have number of benefits, specifically on the cognitive side of things. Luke talked about a whole host of challenges around mental health. So we are actually creating, partnering, and getting third-party providers to work with us on the unique Games for Good platform, where you will have games which will be clinically proven to improve mental health, improve attention and concentration, enhance coordination and memory, and specifically prevent diseases like Alzheimer's and dementia. And finally, use all this to reduce the biggest killer, which is stress. Isn't that going to be fun? So the question again of why gaming and why this is so important to us is because somehow health has always been positioned as this boring thing which we have to do and nobody wants to do, while Pokemon Go was the best example of how that one game was able to make more people active and walking than all the health apps in the world combined. That was the power of Pokemon Go. And now imagine GOQii is taking the power of Pokemon Go to the next level, because not only we are going to have games which are going to make you active, we are also going to have games which are going to stimulate your brain, and we are going to reward you for this. So forget one thing, that over here, every activity on GOQii is going to get you rewards, which you can then use for various things. So we are trying to create an entire paradigm where health is wealth, and you have fun while doing all of this at the same time. Also, I'm happy to announce our new set of plans. So starting next month, we'll be rolling out the GOQii Smart Preventive Health Plan. So it's a very different approach to healthcare itself, where while we started in 2014 with health coaching, we saw that the way it needs to look at is very, very different. So now, every plan comes with the family care aspect, where your family can be on board GOQii. The primary family member does get a tracker free. You will have the option to buy more trackers for your family if you want to, but you can even connect your phone itself. They will be given what we call the GOQii Care Team access. So now it is not just about the coach. We have coaches, health experts, doctors, all of this led by none other than Luke Coutinho, who will be monitoring this entire process. Also, we are introducing second opinion and medical reports for the first time once again on our platform, because today, if somebody does have a medical condition, they don't know who to go to. And then you are randomly, WhatsApping, putting on Facebook, trying to find a friend of a friend who knows who can help you. Today, every GOQii user can come, report us any condition they have, and our team of doctors and experts will be willing to provide you any medical second opinion for it. Of course, we would still refer to your primary physician for any health and advice, but we will act as a sounding board or somebody who has no conflict of interest. We are here to advise you to make you healthy. We are not here because we are getting paid by another provider itself. The other thing we are doing is, which is again very interesting, is the GOQii plans will be eligible for tax saving under Section 80D. I think the government has been very proactive in not only making sure that our citizens are getting health coverage and you can claim your insurance and other things, but there is a provision under 80D where preventive healthcare can be claimed, and GOQii with our new system is going to be eligible for that, and I'm sure a lot of our users will benefit. Also, depending on which plan you take, right from 12,000 rupees all the way to 52,000 rupees in rewards is what you will be getting in. So, I mean, this is clearly the best possible deal for you to be healthy. Even after that, if you're not going to get healthy, I'm sure nobody else can help you in this world. So I think, as I said, it's an exciting day today for us because we are unveiling a new plan. When I was discussing about this to some of my team members and our investors, they were like, crazy, ye kar kya rahe? What are you doing? You are doing gaming, you're doing store, you are doing this, you are doing that. How is all this connected? And I think that's the big question which we are trying to answer. All of this is connected because the person is at the center. We have created this offering by keeping the GOQii player or the user at the center of what we do. The same person wants to eat healthy, the same person wants to party, the same person wants to indulge, the same person wants to go and meet other people. And if you create a centric approach of a consumer in the center, it is a no-brainer what we've been able to do. And I'm happy to see as this rolls out, as I said, there's a huge platform offering. This is going to be rolling out in phases. We will be having some GOQii members here who can give you demos of all this. But I don't want to, I mean, this is a huge round of applause to Sachin, who's our CTO. I don't know where Sachin is, or maybe he's coding it somewhere right now. Where is Sachin? Can you stand up? Oh, see, he's already trying to sort something up. And our entire technology team who has been able to create this. I mean, once again, we have a bunch of geniuses who are only doing this. And this is what happens, and I again jokingly say this. In today's world, we have IITians who are trying to sell vegetables. While there are vegetable vendor wants to send their kids to IIT. That's the difference, that's the paradigm. But I think the big problem which we are trying to solve is not sell you vegetables or not give you another product at a discount, but to make sure you become healthy and you change the world. There's Sachin, by the way, big round of applause for Sachin for making this happen. Come. So how did you build this, Sachin? Do you have a mic here for Sachin?
I think...
It's on, yeah.
Yeah. So I think the whole idea came from a lot of our GOQii users who are already in, on GOQii with our entire family. So a lot of people keep coming and asking us, I want to see how I am able to see my friends, my corporate on GOQii. Why can't I see my entire family, what they're doing on GOQii? So I think the whole idea came from there, as well as a lot of people also do a lot of these things for their family members. So like, for example, I want to take an appointment for my father, but he's not on GOQii. So likewise, a lot of requirement came from internally also. Then we realized that, oh yeah, and a lot of people also get motivated when they work with their family. So the whole idea of family care started from there, and that's what, now we are coming with a family care plan.
Thanks again, Sachin. Thanks a lot. Also, you will be meeting a lot of GOQii team members here. There is KK, who runs our entire operations. There is Dipti. There is Srini, who's our CFO. Make sure we don't go bankrupt. There are a whole host of people. But I think before I end, I think I may be open to a few questions. But all I want to tell you is that we are now going to, after this, have a break and reconvene at 12:05, where we are going to have a very interesting panel on the future of health and the future of how the entire technologies, the entire services around healthcare will be. So we are open to any questions which you may have. And once again, a big round of applause to everybody for unveiling this. Any questions from anyone? You can link Aadhaar card? So that's a very interesting question. While currently we do not have any legal mandate for you to integrate your Aadhaar, but once we integrate insurance, maybe as part of that, if there are mandatory around that, we will be opening to it. But currently, we don't have any plans to integrate Aadhaar into this. Yeah.
your thoughts, etc. How you could sort of work on that as well within your app, because I think that
So
would be an interesting
meditation
feature.
is already part of the GOQii app. You can actually open meditation sessions, but there may be sometime in the future we may even introduce hardware which you can use to do meditation. So clearly mind, body and soul are all connected. But to just kind of add to it, gaming is kind of going towards the mental aspect, but it is more going to training your brain and making sure it is exercising. But yes, I would say that we will focus as we go forward on mental health in a big way.
As an add-on to what he asked, the coaches are brilliant. There's no question about it. But are you going to have counselors there as well?
So the interesting, so her question was, do we have counselors or coaches? So every GOQii coach goes through a certification program where they are taught what is called cognitive behavior therapy. If you go home, just Google CBT, cognitive behavior therapy. And cognitive behavior therapy is actually a form of counseling which is covering multiple conditions. So all our coaches are trained in cognitive behavior therapy. However, we now have experts who are specialized. So clearly, every user will not have, let's say, if somebody has ADHD or somebody is going through clinical depression or some of those challenges, we can identify those people and they can be separately connected to those experts. Having said that, we do have all kinds of healthcare providers on our platform already. And whether it is physiotherapy, whether it is mental health, all this is already covered in the platform. Yeah, there's a question here.
So would you look at tying up with people who are spiritual yoga centers or, MHE or some kind of activity centers that would help provide a better ecosystem in terms of fulfilling those needs too?
No, absolutely. So gyms, yoga studios, spas, anything to do with wellness and health, our plan is to get them. Of course, we will be doing it in phases. Of course, one challenge for us specifically with the physical outlets is you saw that GOQii users are coming from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. And we may not have those services available in every part of the country, which is why our current focus is to see services which can scale. Because the problem is the minute you talk about a gym, we are suddenly talking about the large metro cities and that's it. While GOQii's mandate and our user base is much more diverse across the country. So that's been one of our challenges, but clearly we will get the entire health ecosystem on our platform. I think we have time for 2 more questions. Yeah.
As far as the family plan is concerned, which is a very good thing, I just wanted to ask you that there are senior citizens in the family, and if someone has medical condition, is there a provision or is there a thought process involved in future where, a person can press some button or alert his family people that he's into some problem?
So you're talking about, can we have an emergency button on GOQii where a senior citizen or somebody can ask for help? We have thought a lot about it. And what we have for now decided is GOQii's use case is not an emergency use case. We are a preventive healthcare solution. The emergency use case comes in when somebody is at a critical situation. And the second problem is that fulfillment of the emergency is the bigger problem. So let's say you do press the button, who does come up? I don't know whether currently we have ambulances who can turn up so there is a whole challenge around alerting for an emergency and then actually making sure the person is helped until we do not find a partner who can close that loop. Means if somebody does call for emergency, you need to know. Unfortunately, in today's world, if there's an emergency, the fastest person who can reach you is somebody we don't want you to come, which is Domino's Pizza. So that's the problem in this country, that we have junk food which can reach every corner while health and prevention is a challenge. Another question, I think we have a last question, yeah. Sorry, we can't hear you. Can you just use the mic?
So along with the coaches, somebody who can home visit as an instructor for the player, can that option be added?
So you are talking about home training?
Yeah, because there's so many players whom we train, but they also have a trainer who's visiting their place. So if somebody from GOQii can do that for them?
So once again, we will partner with providers to do this. I don't think so GOQii in itself will have trainers who will go to each person's place. Our goal is we do not want to reinvent the wheel. There are several companies who will be doing this, and our goal will be to partner with them, select the right ones, and then put them on our platform. Because one of the challenges, the minute somebody goes to somebody's home, there are issues around security checks. There are issues around whether this person actually knows how to exercise. So there are a whole host of quality issues which come up. And today, for GOQii, what is most important is if GOQii recommends somebody to someone, the service needs to be fulfilling the promise it has. And currently, there are challenges around it. For example, take the whole concept of food. So many products, so many companies are saying health food delivery, but we partnered with Healthy because each member of GOQii team has actually eaten food from Healthy ourselves. So I think that's really what it is. One of the beliefs for us is we practice what we preach. So only if we consume something or our team members would consume something, will we recommend it to somebody else. It is not put on the platform just because somebody is there or somebody is giving somebody a higher kickback or margin. That's not the play for us.
Thank you.
So once again, yeah. Are there more questions? Are we done? Yeah. There's one right behind. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it first. Vishal, fashion accessories for GOQii, like, the cool watch colors in fluorescent colors and all that, something which, the same boring black or the same boring orange or something. So person have something, it's good for kids.
If it was up to me, we would have only had released red color, but since our team insisted that no, red everybody will not wear, we should have black. No, we will introduce more colors. I think, as I said, we are not a hardware company. The core of GOQii was not about making hardware. नहीं तो अब तक हमने 50 color ये सब कर. Our core was how do we make you become healthier, and we saw that it doesn't make a difference whether it is red or yellow. What makes a difference is how do we motivate you. Having said that, now that we have a health store model, we will be introducing more products because we were never about trying to give you anything. So our goal was very simple: how do we make you healthier? Versus other companies who are only trying to sell you a charger, an accessory, a box, something else. That's not our goal. But with the GOQii Health Store, we may be introducing some of these things. And Champ, please take a note of that.
Second question. You're having family discount. 4 people have got one app over there. So what are family discount for the watches?
Absolutely. So they will be, so as a family, you can earn 52,000 rupees a year. So technically, you don't even have to pay for anyone. You could just be becoming healthy and getting everything. So the idea is the incentivization or earning is based on how healthy you are. So not only can you get a deal, you can probably, forever, if you're going to remain healthy, you don't have to pay for healthy food ever again. So that's the idea.
Fantastic. Thank you.
So thanks a lot once again. Of course, we'll be available. And as I said, we'll be meeting once again. It's 11:50. We're going to have a short break. And we'll be back for a very exciting panel. Once again, thanks a lot. And be the force.
So essentially, we're going to talk about your tattoos. So, ignore them. Tell me more about it.
What do you want me to
How
say?
and where did you get these?
I got some of them in Amsterdam, some of them in Israel. When I used to travel as a teenager a lot, so I was in that phase of life doing the whole hippie trail and all of that stuff. So, yeah.
So all these are about health, or what is it?
No, everything but health. So,
You need to have a body like him to show the tattoos.
Yeah. So reason you should get healthy is that you can have tattoos. Right. So let's start from that corner. I think we can start with a little bit of introduction about ourselves and why are we here.
Thanks, Vishal. Thanks for this opportunity. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Kalpana Sampath. I head a reinsurance company's India branch. The company's name is Swiss Re. And I've spent 30 to 33 years in insurance sector. working with public sector life insurance company LIC of India for first 16 years and then 15 years with a private leading insurance company. And now here, and I think in all my aspects I saw, the purpose of life insurance is to pay when the need comes. And over the period of time, I've seen very untimely deaths as well due to accidents and due to disease. And that's always I used to keep wondering even at very young age and earlier in my career that most of these deaths, which we could have prevented. And we have seen the families, small wives not working, small children suffering, elderly parents, dependents. They used to come to office for claim settlement, and since then, I used to wonder, could this be avoided? Could we help it going forward? And that time, early years, health insurance was not much known, only some Mediclaim policies here and there. Now, of course, I see more people aware, but I also see the health quotient going down. People morbid at very early ages because the claims trend, what I see, is moved on much earlier. Earlier, heart, etc., disease 60 plus. Now you are at 30, 35, and this is what is happening. So, I definitely...
There's a lot more stress in the society.
Stress,
not
lifestyle...
enough people with tattoos.
No, I guess it's a combination of many factors. And if we can, as an industry, if we can help to remove some of those factors, not all, maybe not possible. Like the air we breathe, I don't know how much we can do. Collectively, yes. But immediately, can we do something? We can do something to impact over 5-7 years. But there are certain things which can be done immediately as well. And I think I would like to be helping out there as representing the industry and also in my individual capacity. So,
yes, sir.
Good. Hi. Good afternoon. My name is Ashish Mehrotra. I'm a consumer banker who got into the insurance business because it looked, when I looked at the macro, it looked very, very exciting to me. I have about 22 years of work experience. I worked for Citi. I was running the retail bank for Citi in India. Then I decided to go and run Max Bupa Health Insurance Company because when you look around at the macro data as a banker, you sometimes make mistake looking at the macro data and you look at it saying, 70% of the population doesn't have any kind of health insurance. The government spend of GDP is about less than 4.5, 4.6%. Global averages at about 10%. Rising cost of medical, huge demand and supply gap. More importantly, very large amount of out-of-pocket expenses. If you look at it, India out-of-pocket expenses is about, which is for your own treatment, is about 60-64%. And if you compare it, don't compare to the first world, but compare to the BRIC nations, South Africa at about 7 or 8%. Correct? So we have a long way to go. And this looked like to me is the right purpose for me at my stage to go about creating consumer-led insurance products. And I think we are on that journey, and that's the reason we are here.
Awesome. So Vishal, I first met you when you were, 12-year-old? Selling tanks on some machines moving here and there.
At Times of India.
Times of India, right?
Times of India, yeah.
So even then you were in red color, right? What is it about red color?
I would say that, since I make games, it was all about RG and B, red, green and blue. I pick up the red color.
That's how the red came into.
The red came in. But I think...
it's a nice color.
Red is the color of passion and love.
I believe in green.
That's also
Healthy
nice.
has a green color.
RGB. So
right,
as
green.
long as it is between RG and B, it's good.
Green is better, right? Switch to green, right?
I guess all the colors are here. So Bupa
There is
represent
no
blue and we
green
are there.
inside your body. The only color inside your body is red.
God, I love it. We are living in a green planet. Somewhat blue sky, ocean side. But it's increasingly like if you look at Delhi from the top, it looks like black planet.
They always say Jio mere lal. They don't say Jio mere hara.
Hara bhara ro.
Okay, let's compromise. We are recommending everybody to be healthy. So that's good.
We recommend everyone to be on GOQii. So tell us a little bit more about, and I heard Luke, you made a very nice talk about. Just let's sort of step back a little bit. And I was touched with the point she made. I think the modern society has become very unhealthy in general. Maybe it's the stress of life that we have, cities are causing, work-life balance issues are getting distorted. Kids have so much of work pressure nowadays. Is that earlier generations lived a healthier life. The pollution is all around us. I've come from Delhi. I'm suffering from bronchitis because of that pollution. Step back. And I think there's a larger mission here to set the things right in this planet. And I admire that mission of GOQii. How do you reflect back on the experience of last 3-4 years that you've commenced your journey towards this mission and where you think you are today?
So, what I found out was that there is a lot of conflict of interest when it comes to health. There is an entire industry who profits from sickness. And there is an entire industry which makes processed food. There's an entire industry which advertises that are sugar-free khao to mithai bhi kha sakte hain, or use this oil to cook and you can eat samosas which are suddenly healthier. The reality is far away from the truth. And consumers, and we as consumers believe that, right? We do believe that certain oil, because you are cooking in that oil, suddenly the samosa is going to become healthier. That's not the case. So when I saw that there was so much of conflict of interest, there is nobody who's saying, how can I use technology to motivate behavior to make you healthy? So now think about Facebook. There is an entire debate around fake news and how Facebook can elect presidents and change governments. Facebook's motives are currently aligned to the motive of an advertiser. So if you want to advertise, you can modify behavior to do anything else. So what we learned, and as GOQii, I found out that we are basically doing behavior modification. And now, if I'm suddenly taking the part of the GOQii player and say, I'm going to modify the behavior to what you want. So the same behavior which was making you click on an ad and buy crappy food, we are changing and saying buy healthy food or do this or go for a workout or go for an activity. So what we are really building, and maybe 3 to 5 years later, we may end up becoming a social network. So very frankly, all we are trying to do is one thing, that change the paradigm of making sure you want to be healthy on your own. And I think that's Luke's vision, which we are literally, transmitting to the whole world.
I sort of liked your insight. Like when I go to the Western world, it's like health is your own responsibility. Like I went to HBS and my professor said, health is your personal responsibility, right? And you had this thought that in the Indian family context, health is a family responsibility. The family lifestyles have to change. And I think in GOQii, you're trying to build that framework where family can benefit. Just talk a little bit about it.
So I would say that the center of your health is your mother.
True.
I think it is your mother, your wife, what is cooked at home, what values you're inculcating there is what reflects over there. So when moms are giving kids junk food in their tiffin, that is reflecting a very different story versus when moms are making their kids healthier. So I would say that, which is one of the things we saw, because people were saying that I want to be healthy, but my entire family, everybody is eating chips and everybody is eating pizza. So till the change does not happen at the mom's kitchen, it will not work. And today, unfortunately, processed food, this entire industry is saying that no, nothing, you just need to eat one goli if you have diabetes. So people believe that because you are diabetic, by eating a medicine, it will get controlled. But the reality is far away from truth. Reality is the medicine just subsides your diabetic levels. It doesn't cure your disease. It only progresses, in fact, more rapidly, because what you need to do along with these medications is change your lifestyle, which people don't.
So I'll come to Luke, but let me just give a couple of pointers on how I think about health. So I started this healthy.in on August 1, right? And today we are already doing about 15 to 20,000 meals per month delivered home. And here are some of the insights I have gathered about this idea. So, one misconception people have is that healthy food will not be tasty, right? We need to solve that problem in our head, and that prevents a lot of people from eating healthier food. And that's the challenge I have taken upon in healthy.in, and therefore we call it Healthy Be Tasty Be. The second, when you think of health food in the Western context, I think first thing that comes to your mind is salads, right? We are not brought on salad. None of you ate salad when you were growing up. It's not a natural Indian habit to eat salads. Actually, I have de-emphasized salads on, I'm launching some salads, but in a different twist. But we looked at it from a very different prism and said, can we even create healthy thalis, right? Which is what we eat, right? There's chapati, there is a little bit of 2-3 things. How can we make it healthier? So now I'm taking, that's what I'm doing, but taking a little step back. And this is what I think is largely happening in the context of food across the world. I think there are three big global mega trends that are driving food consumption. The first is that for the first time in the history of humanity, there's a great opening of human palate. For centuries and decades, we ate the food that was grown around us. But today, the choice of options people have is enormous. So let me just give a little story. I moved to Gurgaon in 2000, suburb out of Delhi, very polluted, don't go there. And there were 5 places I could go to. If I wanted to eat Italian, there was a restaurant called Italiano. If I want Chinese food, there was a restaurant called Chinese Club. If I want Indian food, Dana Choga. And that's all we could do for 2, 3, 4 years. Then I came to Bombay in 2005, went back to Gurgaon in 2012. There were 1,000 restaurants, right? But what has happened between 2012 and 2015 is even more massive. Now there are 5,000 restaurants in Gurgaon, right? So earlier, for example, we used to think of South Indian khana khate hain. But now we don't talk like that. We say, let's have Kerala cuisine. Let's have chicken chettinad, right? So our awareness has grown and our ability to absorb new tastes has exponentially expanded. I think the second trend, which I am seeing across markets, across the world, the mobile. Now food is instantaneously Instagrammed and shared. Even if you don't travel abroad, you know what Vishal is eating, and Vishal does it a lot of times. He's eating this fancy meal in a Tokyo restaurant. Wow, I want to have that. And then second thing that mobile has done is made delivery possible. Right? You press a button, ask your kids, how many, I grew up in a middle class Indian household and we used to go once a month, butter chicken khane. Papa used to take us, Punjabi family. Now my kid eats one meal from his kitchen. Like 30, 40 meals are ordered from different restaurants. That's a very big change, which is driven through mobile. Press the button and food comes. And last is very important to the discussion here, what I call millennial effect. Everyone is now becoming suddenly health conscious. What we eat, where is the food grown from, how is it made? This is becoming now mainstream consciousness, and it's coming to India. In the Western world, we saw a whole big company, Whole Food, coming out of this awareness. And I think in the next 10, 15 years, this will be massive movement. So with this sort of larger context of the health food, I now go to expert Luke. So one aspect of the wellness is, you alluded to it, physical wellness. But I think even bigger aspect of wellness is here, how we feel about ourselves, our word, our relationship with people. What is happening across the world? What is your insight? mental wellness. What is causing distortions there, and how can we overcome that? And how is GOQii helping there?
So I think when I look at disease worldwide, the thing that I see is, in alternative medicine, for us, the most important part is getting the diagnosis right. Because we need to know what we're treating. So we're not just treating a symptom, because you have a pill for that, which is allopathy. So if I would put a number, I think my data as of the 31st of October would show about 92% of every client who comes with diseases ranging from cancer to diabetes to inability to lose weight revolves around emotional stress. And a few years ago, people would laugh at this. They would say, oh, everyone has stress. And that's the human mind justifying all the time. We all have stress. Every one of us have stress. But we also have the ability to decide how much and how much of it affects us. We all have stress. There are two magic words when it comes to managing stress. No amount of stress management workshops would ever help solve the problem. It'll make you feel good for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. You go back with a to-do list of what to do, and then you're back to your normal life. It starts from inside. There are two words, acceptance and letting go. You cannot have stress damage you if you learn the art of accepting or letting go of the things that stress you out. Human greed plays a very important role in our own stress. You cannot blame the world. You cannot blame people living in a metropolitan city. That's your choice. Okay? Everyone has an excuse. I need to work for a livelihood for my family, but it's driven by some personal agenda for success.
So how does GOQii platform help you to accept or let go?
So we're not just big on nutrition. Like I said, we have healthy people who eat healthy food all the time, and yet they're sick. So we look at the emotional part. We want to know the thoughts they're thinking. We want to know if they had a happy day, if they had a sad day, they had an angry day. And this is all measurable, because through our app, you would be able to rate your day. At the end of today, the most important thing is, was it a good day or a bad day or a healthy day or an unhappy day? And if I have 26 unhappy days out of 30 days in a month.
It's almost like you are the health assistant. You're almost like a companion.
Yeah, I would say it's more like a companion and a coach, because I can show you the mirror and say, listen, you have 26 unhappy days, and now you know that's not good for you. It's impacting probably your relationships, your health, and everything else. So the whole idea, like I said, motivation is our business. It's easy to tell people and give them quotes about health and, all of these things, but that's generic. But if I show you your own data, and I say you're building a company today, okay, with a top line or a bottom line of X amount, but you're not even bothered about the waistline of your company, what's the point at the end of the day? What's the point paying insurance for your employees who you truly don't care about because they're working long hours, they don't have the right food in their cafeteria, and we want them to be productive? It's a selfish game. Human greed is the biggest cause of stress today. And we're here to show a mirror to people and say, fine, all of us want the most. It's like you said about food. What makes food addictive? There are companies that spend billions of dollars just getting that right taste into their food. Salt and sugar. You cut out salt and sugar, your product won't sell. Why? Because they're getting your brain addicted. It's now no longer a behavior, it's an addiction. So we're working with emotions, we're working with physical health, we're working with spiritual growth. I'm not talking about religion, but I need to have spiritual growth to make a decision where I want to stop destroying my health, I want to start improving it. And that comes with meditation, that comes with introspection, that comes with prayer, doing a hobby, walking, exercising, everything that GOQii tries to encourage in people.
Awesome. So we'll come back, push the button a little bit more on spirituality, my favorite subject, and you feel like a Baba. We'll come back. So let's come to this idea that wellness is better than illness, clearly from the perspective of insurance and cost to the society, right? So it'll be great to get your thoughts. How can this idea be architected in the context of India, which doesn't have actually infrastructure to treat its ill? State has abdicated its responsibility here completely, it seems. And then there are hospitals like Max and Fortes and Medanta, who are charging tens of lakhs to dengue people and killing them also. Both of you.
You going to go first, or you want me to go first? I think both as we see the Indian regulatory space opening up on the insurance side, I think there is a big shift from illness to wellness. And I think there's a bigger shift coming up from ensuring health to ensuring health. And I think that goes pretty well as we see the new changes in the society. You spoke about what's happening in the new millennial world. On India context, there is a very high adoption of devices similar to GOQii. And to my mind, as we look at the world in future and more so in present, I think the marrying of both of this to ensure that you drive healthy behavior and healthy outcomes will essentially is the core objective. On this dais, actually, everybody who's sitting, the primary interest is to keep the consumer healthy. My primary interest is to ensure that my customer have a healthy life. And that's exactly the objective that Vishal has, that's Luke's objective, that's all of our objectives. If we work on it and we see this with the advent of technology, what we can do, I think we're going to make an impact to the society.
So, Kalpana,
and
maybe
there is another element. So when you start seeing all of this, and you start linking the benefits of that, not necessarily on your health, but also on the outcome of what you're going to pay in future, then obviously it is a bigger motivation for you to embrace and make that change. We spoke about how groups of people tends to behave differently. Every time you put together a group, whether a family or a social group, the behavior of every participant of the group changes dramatically. There was a study which was conducted in UK, and they put a bunch of people with high diabetic, and they saw a significant improvement on every participant, almost 40 to 56% improvement they saw per participant.
Together we improve better.
Together we move forward. So I think as the communities get created, and GOQii is going to be one such community, and we are very happy to partner and try and create, probably the first time in the Indian industry, create products which will help drive the right healthy behavior.
Awesome. So maybe while you answer this, also, what's the role of government, right? Like I think Prime Minister Modi said very nice things, Swachh Bharat, but I think he also needs to, for example, make sure that pollution is covered in Swachh Bharat. Clean water, clean air first. So maybe you can also reflect on what's the role of government here.
So first, going to the first topic, Ashish touched upon the interest of the end consumer that his company is striving to serve. And though it's a health insurance company, I'm sure they don't want to pay the claims. They would rather keep the people healthy and avoid it. It makes, it's a win-win, both for consumer and for the company, right? And after all of that, anything happens, then of course we are there to cover. So that's the stand even I would like to take. As you rightly said, where are the facilities to treat the things? The illness which can be diagnosed earlier, if at all it is there, and can be cured at the first step, second step. Just because there are no facilities, people are ignorant or they don't have means to reach those, or a combination of all of this. They get aggravated and come to the medical care at the last stage where the cost is very high, and then the person may no longer be alive or maybe very morbid, bedridden. Another next step of increased cost and emotional drain on himself and the family as well. Why? Because it could have been treated earlier, but because of reasons doesn't happen. So as you rightly said, the adequacy of the facilities, the affordability of the facilities, availability, adequacy, affordability, awareness, I guess lots of gap everywhere. Lots of gaps. So though while we have to take multi-pronged approach, if our population is so much and it is increasing, we need to have more primary care facilities than, posh hospitals. Why go to that stage in the first place, right? So more primary care is important, more awareness is important, and maybe the insurance industry, which is already moving in that direction, is to not only cover the inpatient hospitalization, but also the OPDs and early treatments, to encourage people to go and take early treatment and not go to the stage where it requires hospitalization and huge expenditure. So the industry is moving already in that direction. Now, with so much penetration of telecommunication and also the younger generation getting, sort of addicted to apps and all that, even people like us who never had mobile phones 15 years back, today are very much, at least the functional things on mail, WhatsApp, etc. we have learned, and we have also now completely dependent on that. So given all of that, one step further, more than primary care, I would have started 5-7 years back on primary care. Now I'm one step ahead. Why even go to primary care? Completely prevent. Nobody is immortal. Something will happen at some stage. But why it should happen earlier and earlier and earlier? Why can't we just maintain something, good habits, good food, and things can be customized. What is healthy food for you may not be for me, and I don't personally feel there is anything wrong in eating a normal samosa once in a while or having a jalebi once in a while. Not to so much kill ourselves that, you can't have once in a while. But not why, nothing is out of boundary, provided everything is in moderation and managed well over as a discipline. So I would take it to that stage where prevent it to happen, push it as far as possible and keep it in the minimalistic way, even if it has to happen, and then look at it. So as an industry, if we suppose support the primary companies and with the regulator's blessing to have products which encourage good habits, give discounts, incentivize people, and with apps and telecommunication cover the wider population, build up communities as Ashish also rightly mentioned, I think that's a big moment. And thankfully, there was a stage, as I said earlier, when these diseases were not heard. These diseases were not heard much before 60 or 50. Then I think there was a middle generation which got caught unawares and it hit them. I think the next generation is slightly more aware, and it's our job, I guess, to push them towards more awareness and changing their habits.
Okay.
Go.
So thanks a lot. I think we touched some very important point. But coming back to Vishal now, previously you said the vested interests that prevent the onset of a new health conscious society. Do you think, are we ready for disruption? Is the cause of disruption consumer awareness? Is consumer getting ready for it? What's your sense?
So I think we have now reached...
Also talk a little bit about future, how technology and health are coming together and creating more value in the society and for consumers.
No, I mean, India is actually one of those crazy markets which is adopting technology faster than anywhere else. If you see how fast you adopted Uber, how fast you adopted Amazon, Flipkart, the entire shared economy space in India has taken... And
Paytm also.
And Paytm, with digital
Healthy.in.
payments. Digital payments.
And Healthy.in.
And Healthy.in. So India, people are adopting to new technologies fast, and the new technology allows you to leapfrog. There are no middlemen. Today consumers trust reviews, they trust what other people are saying, so it's no longer about just seeing an ad and buying a product. Or if a movie star is endorsing a product, people were buying it. That was the old world where you believed in certain people who would tell you something.
Broadcast world.
Broadcast world. Today, what you believe is what your micro network is telling you, what your friends are telling you, what people you follow on Twitter, on Facebook are saying. So what is happening is, we are living in a world where we are influenced by things around us and more likely to do those behaviors.
So in a way, Trump is right when he calls all media fake news.
I will not comment on that, but I would simply say that the larger media has an agenda, while when you look at, for example, Ranveer over here who runs Beer Biceps, one of the most popular channels on YouTube, he's 23 years old. He doesn't have an agenda. He's not trying to sell you anything. He's trying to be fit. He's telling you how to be healthy. And I would say there are more people willing to listen to him. Or Luke's videos on Facebook has viewership now which is going into millions, right, Luke? So there are people who want to directly go to Luke, talk to him and get the data versus going to the traditional newspaper, print, TV channel. So because of that, you are now able to disrupt a lot of these things. And lastly, social media has changed behavior. As we know, you can do whatever you want as far as behavior is concerned. My simple thing was, today I have a question in this room. How many of you know either 1 degree, 2 degree or 3 degree away, somebody in their 40s to 50s who died of a heart attack. It's crazy, right? I mean, in last 10 years, you could never hear about, people in their 30s, 40s, 50s just collapsing in office. This is happening. So if we do not change now, this is only going to become worse. And I think that's what GOQii's goal is, to change that paradigm with the help of technology, with the help of data, with the help of all the tools around there, and build the ecosystem.
Awesome. So there is technology. There are platforms like GOQii coming in, but it all starts from within, right? You have to feel motivated to go for a change, right? Now look at the other reality of countries like India and China. The middle class is earning more and becoming fatter, right? The kids are becoming like obese. In that context of the evolution and rise of middle class and obese kids, how does this, and then there is technology that is willing to help you, how does it come from within? How do you ignite that spirit for change? And I think that is where the human intervention, the softness comes, in my view.
Yeah, so I think today if you look at two things that human beings most want is to feel appreciated and to be heard. So we call it compassionate listening, where I can listen to someone without interrupting, without judging that person, and that's where a human comes in. There's no way technology can ever do that for you. Okay, because, I mean, there's a simple example, we use it with cancer patients all the time, and patients as well. We just tell them to hold the hands of a loved one while they're getting their chemotherapy. That human touch changes the biology of their cells. They become more receptive to the chemo coming in their body. And you won't find, I mean, there'll be a lot of skeptics who say, oh, prove it, science doesn't say this, because no one's studying it. No one's interested in researching this. You see, there's no money in being healthy or in being dead. All the money's in being chronically ill. And if you look around, that's what medication's designed to do, to keep you chronically ill. You're ill today, you have another tablet for the illness that the side effect of the first tablet brought on. And I'm not saying it in a negative way. There are people who need medication, but we need to rise beyond and read between the lines. If you're on more than 2 pills at one time, you are not healthy. It is the pill that is maintaining your statistics on your reports as healthy. That's called statistical deception. So many people on cholesterol drugs, they say, oh, I'm fit, I'm healthy, my levels are in place, and they're on a statin. How are you healthy? You're going to damage your muscles, your neurological system over time, and that's why we see dementia and Alzheimer's creep up in old age. And when you look at the history of patients who have Alzheimer's and dementia, you find they were on statins, diabetic drugs, a whole list of other drugs. So the issue over here from inside, we have to work inside out. It's always that way because like a woman can use a shampoo to make her hair look beautiful. Once the effect of the shampoo is out, it looks whatever, not so good again. But if you put the right food in your body, the roots of your hair will grow into something beautiful. So the problem over here is everyone talks about meditation. Spirituality has also become a fad. You'll say people, oh, I have my chanting class today, I have my yoga class, meditation, pranayama. Everyone's doing it, but they're not letting the learning slip into their day. So if I did a yoga class and a pranayama class today, and I'm going to have a difficult discussion with my boss, where am I letting the learning slip into that discussion where I'm not reacting, I'm pausing, I'm breathing, I'm listening, and then I'm making a skillful reaction to it. That's what I learned in yoga, to follow my breath, to breathe. We don't let it slip into our lives. So spirituality has also become a fad. And the thing is, media keeps moving us away and away from our essence. Because everyone knows today, if we can connect with our insides, right, we're not going to be profitable for the food industry. If I can learn to eat my normal dal, chawal, sabji, I'm a loss to the restaurants and the food business. True. So the media will keep pushing us away from these things, and we need to rise beyond that. It's good to have a little bit of a variety. Variety is the spice of life. But today, variety has become a curse. I mean, people travel one international trip a day. Today, people are like, oh, anyone travel to the Galapagos Islands, and I want to do a holiday there. It's about show, and it's about doing more and more and more. And you travel like 4 times in a year, 10 days in a month, and that's exactly how many meals you're eating outside. And then you have acidity, and you're bloating, and then you're given an antacid pill. You see the vicious circle of destruction? It starts from outside. but without understanding from inside and make that decision that fine, I can still travel, but I can still eat decently. There's nothing wrong with eating, like she said. I don't know a single person who got sick eating samosas. I know people who got sick eating samosas, sitting in a chair and watching TV the whole day, not sleeping well, smoking and drinking combined. The problem is not with the samosa. The problem is with human
Problem
greed.
is with Coca-Cola. Don't drink.
I wouldn't even say that. It's overconsumption again. You know, I know so many people who are fit, they have 1 or 2 or 3 aerated drinks a day, but they work out, they sleep well, their stress levels are controlled. So I really wouldn't blame a particular food. It's about you. I mean, eat, but why should you overeat? Drink, but why should you overdrink? It's as simple. Think, but why should you overthink? So again, it's human greed. It's what's going on inside. And we're scared to look inside.
Well said.
Very scared to look inside. Thank you.
So I think this brings us, we can take some questions? Yeah. And before we take the questions, I have one simple thought to plant in your head. Whenever you eat unhealthy, make the next meal healthy. And take it from healthy.in.
On the GOQii app itself now.
And GOQii app also. Make your next meal healthy. I think the transformation starts with incremental steps. We'll take a few questions. The people.
Hi, this is a question for the representatives from the insurance side of the business. You talked about family primary care, ma'am. Why is it then that every insurance company forces you to be hospitalized before you will start as allowing for us to even claim? I mean, isn't that an oxymoron completely? Isn't there a contradiction there straight away? It's not me, but I know a lot of people who would just not head to a hospital because they're saying, oh, we're just going to get jabbed with $2,000. And you know, it's nothing, it's just a headache. But that headache, when it turns into brain cancer, that's when you guys start coughing up the cash. So if we wanted to preempt this entire vicious circle, would it not be possible for an insurance claim to be step up immediately and make sure that the person is not forced to go in for a surgery or forced to stay in hospital for 24 hours or 48 or 1 month because that's the only time you guys step in?
Good. Do you want to go?
And I'm sorry, I'll just tell you where I'm coming from. I'm one of probably had the largest claims in any insurance company. I had a serious car accident. I had the same problem. When I had my cancer, I had the same problem. And I've seen thousands of patients after that at Tata Memorial who face exactly the same issue, which is why I'm asking.
I think very pertinent question. If you look at it predominantly since the inception of the insurance, the financing business, if you look at it since the inception over the last decade or so, a large part of insurance is about in hospitalization, and that's what's get insured. For an insurance company, and you please appreciate, and I want to bring simple context, insurance companies are highly regulated. The money which we give is the money we collect from the policy holders to pay back to some policy holders who's going to use as a part of a claim. For us to exercise that claim, there has to be a network of hospitals through which we make the reimbursement of the payments. I think today in India, the large part of the GP or the so-called daycare network is not that effective. And that's the reason why most of the insurance product predominantly cover the in-hospitalization. I think there is going to be some change. Watch out this space for next few weeks along with GOQii. You could obviously have a product which covers you for your, for meeting your GP, meeting your specialist, meeting your dentist, doing your checkups done, doing your diagnostic, and I'm sure there are insurance companies who are working on it, and there are going to be reinsurers who are going to reinsure such products. So I think that time of change is there. I think it's around the corner, and you will hear some good news soon.
Yeah, we would just add one more aspect to it. The insurers are also realizing that if you insist only on hospitalization, it's an enhanced amount that they are paying. But as Ashish rightly mentioned, they need data, network and connections. A single GP somewhere sitting in some corner of some city is not connected. There is also an element which is of misuse or abuse. And the health insurance industry has always been, suffering from it quite to a certain extent. So the insurance companies cannot pay more than what they have collected, and year after year they cannot sustain if this continues. So the well-networked provider network, where you know the authenticity and genuineness, that can facilitate it. And I think a large part also is of consumer mentality to use for the right reasons and not misuse. So a lot of change is required even on that side.
And I think just to add to this, right, this is exactly what we want to change. Healthcare is the only industry where it is so critical to people's life, but nobody trusts each other. Everybody is suspicious of the other person. Customer thinks insurance company is not paying, doctor thinks customer is going to do this, diagnostic companies. So there is a problem inherently where everybody in the ecosystem thinks the other person is trying to fleece me. And that is what needs to change, and that will happen from the consumer, which is why we want to empower you to make sure you have your data, you figure out what you do so that you are controlling your own destiny.
So just to add one more perspective to it, if you look at the data points, you on an average go 4 to 5 times to meet your GP before you will get hospitalized. From an insurance company perspective, that's the right time so that I can keep you out of hospital and keep you healthy. As long as I think the network evolves on GP side.
And the data, right?
And the data is there, and obviously I can tell you, in companies, if you go around in the 15,000 or 20,000 bucks of what you get at medical reimbursement, if the companies start auditing for the bills, you will find from talcum powder to cologne to everything else being bought as part of the reimbursement. So I think that's a big challenge. That's for us to address and for us to build that network. But core objective is to ensure we're able to fund it before so that we can ensure that you remain healthy and you remain out of hospital. That's the core objective.
Thank you very much. We'll take one question. I have a flight to catch after that. I'll go. You can carry on with more
I think we'll be done.
One question, please. Any more?
Yeah, I don't know that this works. Hi. This is less of a question, but more a comment. My name is Pooja, and I'm from Map My Genome. And although I am by disposition an optimist, I want to actually just say that this has been so cool for me to be here and to see the industry as well as technology and coaching and food and diet and lifestyle all come together. I think we are on the threshold of a pretty big change, and I think I want to disagree with you, sir, in the statement that you made that the younger generation is sicker. I think the newer generation is probably more aware of health risks, more motivated to make the changes. And as someone that believes in genomics, it's really cool to see genomics have some actual impact on people's health, because we know there's sufficient research, there's enough evidence that has gone to shown that health behavior modification is really a great way to reduce your overall risks, but intent to change health behavior does not always necessarily translate to health behavior changes. And so GOQii with, what you're doing with your lifestyle changing and what you guys are doing with the dietary modification, as well as what you're doing with, coaching and helping people raise motivation and accountability, and the insurance companies as well participating in this. I truly believe this is going to change what the future of medicine is going to look like, which I believe will be preventive, participatory, as well as proactive. So I guess
and
this
fun
is just
with gaming put into this.
We can play games to keep our brains healthy as well, but I'm just saying congratulations, and I look forward to a healthier future. And hopefully India will stop being the diabetes capital of the world and all of that. So congratulations is all I'm saying.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.